All right, War Pugs. We have a request here from Mad Dog, and this is from Installation00. And this is a question that is really hard to answer. How many kills has Master Chief made? Now, I don't even know how to begin calculating this. So I'm really interested to see how Installation Zero put this together. Because, my God, you have all the Halo games that Master Chief was in. Yeah. All the comics, all the books, and everything before the actual start of the games and novel series. How many kills can you actually say that Master Chief has essentially carried out? It is. I'm really, really wondering where he's going to put together this math. So, with that being said, guys, please let me know what you think about this in the comment section below, because frankly, this is the first time I think I'm checking out something like this, where somebody does this kind of estimation. And let me know how accurate or inaccurate you think this is. So, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, because, I mean, let's just go. I mean, I don't even know how he began coming up with this figure, but we're going to figure it out. Let's jump into it. All of Installation00's links are going to be in the description down below. Please go subscribe to them if you like Halo content. Subscribe to me if you like everything that I check out. And leave a comment down below. Let's get into it.
The Master Chief is the main protagonist of the Halo universe. He's been frequently described as being hyper-lethal. He has received every war commendation and medal save for the Prisoner of War medallion, attained the highest possible rank for enlisted personnel, has on more than one occasion been the only thing standing between humanity and extinction. He is humanity's greatest warrior, most powerful protector, and most vigilant and dutiful soldier, to the point that he's earned himself the nickname Demon from our enemies. Everything about the Master Chief is larger than life. He's a super soldier. He's taller, he's stronger, he's faster, he's more resilient, he heals faster. You can basically see in pitch black. Has a masterful control of the battlefield when he's on it, and is consistently redefining what is possible for a Spartan to achieve. But after all of this talk about his lethality, his battle prowess, and how accomplished he is, we don't actually know how many of the enemy he's actually killed. Until now.
Well, let's get into it then. I'm ready. I'm ready, Warbugs. I like the intro.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00, and I have been labouring for quite a long time to finally answer the question, what is the Master Chief's kill count? Now, don't mistake me here, this isn't an exhaustive kill count over the entirety of his career, it's isolated to just the games.
Okay.
And even then, I've made that kill count with some provisions in place to mediate exactly what does and does not count as a kill. So, for example, we will of course include every member of the Covenant that he actually puts a bullet in or punches to death.
Okay.
We will also include members of the Banished, we will also include Sentinels that are actively attacking him, we will also include the Prometheans. We won't include the infection forms of the Flood, but we will include the pure forms, the combat forms, and the carrier forms.
That
we will
makes
also
sense.
include if a body has been reanimated by the Flood as another kill. Vehicles aren't counted as a kill unless they're a Scarab, in which case they're actually powered directly by Let Golo, in which case it does kind of count as a kill. And we also won't be including any wildlife that may die as a consequence of his actions. Onwards from this, it will include kills that Chief makes with a weapon, with his fists, or with a grenade, or as a consequence of his actions, such as quote-unquote giving the Covenant back their bomb. And yes, that also means that we're not just including the in-game kills, we're actually including the kills in the cutscenes as well. Again, this is the kill count for the entirety of the games, so basically only covering a period of 2552 until 2560, which is the current operating date in Halo Infinite's campaign. So only a period of 8 years, over 4 of which he was actually asleep for.
Yeah.
So they were the conditions in which I approached this particular problem in finding out Chief's exact kill count, and now let's break this down for you, game by game, in order of quantity of kills. So for the in-game counts, I actually played through on all of the games of Halo from start to finish on both easy and legendary difficulty, counted the total number of kills per level for both of those difficulties, and then averaged them to get the figure that I present here in this video.
That way,
and during cutscenes, I use established lore in regards to ship, crew, and complement, for example, to figure out an accurate kill count during any cutscene kills. All of this is then added together and presented as a final number per level and per game, with the grand total available at the very end. So with all of that said, let's get on with looking at the games.
Do not underestimate him.
Now, first off, I'm sure it comes as no surprise that the smallest kill count was actually in Halo 5, mainly because the Master Chief actually only appears in 3 levels for the entirety of the game. He appears for the level Blue Team.
I did not play Halo 5, it's the only Halo game I didn't play.
Reunion, and the Breaking. The first level Blue Team starts with Blue Team smashing through the window of the Argent Moon and sucking 5 elites out into space. These elites weren't wearing any exo-atmospheric suits, so they're all dead. The total average kill count for Blue Team was 179 on average, with Reunion coming in at 112 and the Breaking coming in at 125, giving Halo 5 a rather pitiful 421 total kills for the Master Chief.
Oh, pitiful.
Next in the ranking is surprisingly Halo Infinite.
Really?
In the opening, he kills approximately 10 enemies during the opening cutscene before Atriox ambushes him. This is immediately then chased by him being spaced and waking up 6 months later, with Brohammer waking him up inside the Pelican, and then him boarding the warship Gabrakan, which is a banished dreadnought, and killing a rather modest 94 enemies before actually blowing the ship to hell. Now, although the dreadnought may not have been necessarily full with its entire crew and complement, as listed in the new edition of the Halo Encyclopedia, banished dreadnoughts can carry upwards of 10,000 warriors.
Oh!
So for the avoidance of doubt, we add 10,000 to the total kill count on warship Gabrakan. I then kill counted for every main mission of the Halo Infinite campaign, and then gave a running total for any open world interactions, which included just coming across random squads across the surface of Zeta Halo, as well as any targets and their posse that may have needed to be taken out, any forward operating bases that needed clearing, and any marines that needed rescuing.
Okay.
And we have on average 128 for Foundation, 75 for Tremonius, 276 for Recovery, 104 for Excavation Site, 151 for Conservatory, 38 for the Spire, 64 for the Horn of Abolition, 73 for the Forge of Teach, 54 for the Redoubt of Sundering, 78 for the Armory of Reckoning, 210 for Pelican Down, 100 for Annex Ridge, 79 for Riven Gate, 149 for the Sequence, 138 for the Nexus, 134 for the Command Spire, 161 for the Repository, 127 for the Road, 94 for the House of Reckoning, 137 for the Silent Auditorium, and approximately 1,255 kills for the Open World, totaling 13,729 kills.
He's a walking
for Halo
genocide.
Infinite. Next we take a look at Halo 2, where again the campaign is shared but much more evenly between the Chief and the Arbiter. We kick things off on the Cairo, where all in all he kills 127 enemies aboard the Cairo station, but then it comes to the cutscene where he gives the Covenant back their bomb.
Yes.
The ship in question that Chief ends up blowing up is a CAS-class assault carrier. At over 5 kilometers in length, this beast can carry 40,000 warriors,
Oh boy.
200 superiors, and 10 engineers, totaling 40.
Still one of the most, haunting yet beautiful cutscenes I've ever seen in a video game comes from this.
1,210 total personnel, meaning in the opening level of Halo 2, Chief kills 40,337 Covenant. This is chased then by Outskirts at 197, Metropolis at 103, Delta Halo at 214, Regret at 185, Gravemind at 277, and High Charity at 193, including the Prophet of Mercy that he somewhat mercy kills, ironically enough, giving a grand total for Halo 2 of 41,507.
Oh my god.
Next in line is Halo CE, where in the Pillar of Autumn he kills 110, Halo he kills 158, Truth and Reconciliation he kills 291, the Silent Cartographer he kills 150, Assault on the Control Room he kills 395, 343 Guilty Spark he kills 162, the Library, which unsurprisingly enough actually holds the record for the largest number of in-game kills during gameplay at 532.
The Library was... It was a nightmare.
Now we know why the Library was always such a slog to play through. 2 Betrayals follows with 356, 328 for Keys, and 142 for the Maw. However, the Chief then makes the reactors on the Pillar of Autumn go critical, which then detonate and destroy the ring. Now again, we're not including wildlife in here, but we are of course including crew complements. Now I'm sure we're all aware that there was actually a Covenant fleet that followed the Pillar of Autumn to Installation 04. The Fleet of Particular Justice, when it arrived ahead of the Pillar of
I love that name, the Fleet of Particular Justice.
Autumn at Installation 04, consisted of 16 warships. Of these 16, Cortana managed to kill 4 of them before the Master Chief met with Captain Keyes on the bridge of the Pillar of Autumn, bringing the total number down to 12. And although I said I'd stick to the games, I need to find out exactly how many ships were left after the Pillar of Autumn blew up on Installation 04. And I find that in Chapter 5 of Halo First Strike, where the Master Chief and Cortana aboard the Longsword directly observe 6 cruisers and the flagship, the Ascendant Justice, surviving the explosion and re-emerging from around the planet Threshold, where they hid to protect themselves from the blast. That means that 5 CCS-class battlecruisers were caught in the blast or were on the ring when the ring fell apart. From here, it's just a case of finding out the crew and complement of a CCS-class battlecruiser, which just so happens to be 500 menials, 2 engineers, 8 superiors, 180 obedientries, 2,500 warriors, and 4,100 thralls, totaling 7,290 troops. Times that by 5 CCS-class battlecruisers that were taken down, and that's 36,450 troops that were killed. Now, of course, the Flood muddy the water a little bit here, but one can assume that the Covenant were killed by the blast from the Pillar of Autumn going supernova, or were killed by the Flood, which were then killed by the Pillar of Autumn going supernova. So I think we can kind of round that out as being 36,450 killed. However, on top of that, you've also got to bear in mind the entirety of the crew complement for the Pillar of Autumn, whom again either died directly as a consequence of the blast, or were killed by the Covenant, or were killed by the Flood. And then ultimately, if they were resurrected by the Flood, were killed again by the explosion. So we can pretty much write off the entire 3,000 collective personnel of the Pillar of Autumn as well, bringing the grand total for Halo CE to 42,075.
I thought Halo 5 was a little bit excessive, but my God. This man has cleared out an entire population center on his own.
5. Next up, Halo 3. Now, in the opening cutscene, Arrival, no kills, no gameplay kills, no nothing, although he very nearly puts a bullet in the Arbiter, but that's by the by. In either case, moving on from that, Sierra 117, 137, 183 for Crow's Nest, 147 for Salvo Highway, 150 for the Storm, 150 for Floodgate, 261 for the Ark, 264 for the Covenant, 198 for Cortana, 172 for Halo. However, Chief also activates Installation 04B so that its pulse can destroy any proximate flood on the Ark, because ultimately the Ark is out of range of the other installations. Now this does indeed get very flaky, but once you consider the size of the numbers we're dealing with here, I've actually done a conservative estimate that I think you'll actually be relatively comfortable with.
Okay.
So now we have to bear in mind that in Halo 3, Truth's fleet arrives at the Ark moments before the elites and the UNSC catch up.
Okay.
Truth's fleet was massive, comprising of 47 CCS-class battlecruisers, 3 CAS-class assault carriers, approximately 6 frigates, approximately 3 heavy cruisers, and the foreigner key ship, the Anodyne Spirit. Now again, employing the same tactic we used before, where we find the approximate known quantities of troops for each of these classes of ship and then multiplying it by the number of ships that were in attendance.
Right.
We effectively get a total crew complement for the entirety of Truth's fleet of 510,730. That's over 500,000 troops. But the terrifying thing is it doesn't end there. High Charity slips to the Ark and crash lands on the surface, and the Flood are effectively released onto the Ark. Well, this is the very action that then forces the Chief to have to activate the Halo. And this is where things get terrifying, because if we consider that the Flood obviously reanimate dead bodies,
right,
or kill them outright and turn them into biomass to help build grave mines, we're dealing with silly numbers in this regard.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So the total population, the known estimated population of High Charity when it fell, was 7.7 billion individuals. Now, of course, the Flood pretty much took over the entirety of High Charity. Yes, there's a good chance that a lot of individuals escaped, and yes, a lot of the population would have been converted directly into biomass. That's abundantly clear from the level Cortana when we actually go to High Charity, and it is almost unrecognisable as being the Covenant Holy City. But in my calculations, I was extremely conservative, to the tune of assuming that 99.9% of all of the population of High Charity either escaped or were turned to biomass, in which case, as far as combat forms and pure forms are concerned, I'm only taking into consideration 0.1% of that original population, and that's still 77 million individuals. That brings our total kill count for Halo 3 to 77,512,392. And finally, and in my own personal opinion, most surprisingly, Halo 4. Now, of Halo 4, we open up with the Dawn, where on average he kills 77 enemies. The weird thing is that in the cutscene at the very end, where he manages to launch the missile at the Covenant ship, that isn't a CCS-class battlecruiser, although, you know, aesthetically it looks identical. It's actually a much smaller vessel, being a Xanar pattern light cruiser that only measures about 300 meters in length. And the odd thing here is that in Halo Warfleet, it's referenced that this ship only contains 1 superior and 8 menials. That's a crew of only 9. But we're not here to question crew counts, we're here to figure out a kill count. So we add those 9 to the kill count. That gives Dawn a total of 86. 159 for Requiem, 202 for Forerunner, 300 for Infinity, 212 for Reclaimer, 192 for Shutdown, 182 for...
Seriously, it would be the one with the mechs. It would be the one with the mechs. Come on, the mechs are the best part.
For Composer, although we also include 40 being the crew complement of the Lich that Chief manages to board and clear, so that Cortana can pilot it, that then ends up being crashed directly into Ivanov Station. And then the final level of Halo 4 being Midnight, where while he's aboard the Mantle's approach, he destroys 144 enemies.
Right.
We do not include the Didact in this kill, because the Didact actually is known to have survived his fall through the slipspace rift, but Chief does activate a Havoc tactical nuke. He's promptly saved from the blast, but that doesn't stop the fact that that nuke detonated and completely destroyed the Mantle's approach. This is where we get the last ridiculous number.
Okay.
I said at the onset that we're including Prometheans in this kill count, and the Mantle's approach, well, everything about this ship is huge. I mean, it's 142.7 kilometers in length, it's 138.6 kilometers in width, and it's 371.4 kilometers in height and weighs 4.7 quadrillion metric tons. And of course, bearing in mind the only known living Forerunner is the Didact himself, and we're not including him in this kill count, that means that there aren't any other soldiers on board, but we are including Prometheans.
This is a lot of number. Oh my god, okay.
And the Mantle's approach holds over 1 billion Promethean constructs. And with that figure, I can say with relative lore accuracy that the Master Chief's kill count across the entirety of the games and cutscenes from 2552 to 2560, covering the games of Halo CE all the way up to Halo Infinite, his total kill count is 1,077,611,641. To give that some context, that's effectively 7.38% of the human population alive right now, or basically wiping out the entirety of, say, China or India, both of which have populations over 1 billion. And that total kill count comes from one man, one Spartan, the Master Chief, the f***ing legend. Chief, what have you got to say about this?
I need a weapon.
Okay, I expected some number in the thousands. I really expected some number in the thousands. I may be cresting 10,000. Maybe cresting 10,000. But my god. Forget the Geneva Convention at this point. It's the Geneva toilet paper because the Master Chief wiped his ass with it. Oh my god. Forget a genocide. This is just unbelievable. I thought the first number was like, I knew that I knew the numbers were gonna be in the thousands. That wasn't what got the numbers on the ships, because I discounted the ships. I discounted the Ark, I discounted the Halo ring, I discounted all of that. But if you have numbers for it, you can assign the numbers to it. My god. And he went really light on those numbers. He went really light on those numbers. That's the most insane part of this. Warpugs, the Master Chief is part of the problem. The Master Chief is a walking, talking civilization ender. My god. Oh. The frightening part about this is he isn't the only one. He is not the only one. But who would have a kill count? Like there isn't a single character in all of fiction that would have a kill count that high. If not in any fiction that I am, well, never mind. The Emperor of Mankind would definitely have. No, he wouldn't have a kill count anywhere near that because he didn't do those directly. Can you think of any one singular character that would have a kill count that high? Doctor Who, maybe? Warpugs. You play this guy in several games. You enjoy your time with him. And you, like, a billion. A billion with a B. Thank you to Installation00 for making me realize how horrible of a person I am for committing genocide on such a scale in the games that I played. I'm going to head out from here. Warpugs, be absolutely sure to subscribe to Installation00 if you haven't already. Subscribe to me if you haven't already. And leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. If this is on point, or if this is too high or too low. If you forgot something. Now, this was just the games. So just the gameplay and the cutscenes. Nothing before or after. I think I'm good, Warpugs. I think I'm good. I'll catch you guys next time. Hope you all have had a great Monday. And remember, good times rhymes with war crimes.